Hello friends! So this is the start of a new reading vlog where I will try to catch up on my reading goals. If you're new here, you might not know that I have been in a huge reading slump for the past few months and I am slowly crawling out of it. So basically my goal for this year was to read 100 books, which 3 months into the year I realized was impossible. So I changed it to 50, and even with that I am still currently behind. I am behind 5 books. It is September, I have read 31 books, which for me isn't a lot. I don't even want to get into this whole discussion of oh, reading is for fun, it's not about numbers. For you, no. Because I just need you to know, when I say I've only read 31 books this year, I just mean that in relation to how my reading normally goes. I'm only comparing me to myself, you know? And that's what you should do too. So basically during this vlog I want to read 5 books. I don't want anything too dense because I'm still, finding my way back to reading. Basically my goals for this year were, well, one was to read 100 books, now it's 50, so there's that. Second goal was to read more books in Polish. I know this might not be interesting for you, but I do want to regain my ability to speak in Polish because I do feel like I'm losing my grasp on that language. So I wanted to read 12 books in Polish this year. I think I read 2 or 3. Third goal was to read more nonfiction. I believe my goal was to read 3 nonfiction books. I maybe read 1. I don't necessarily want to reach that goal of 10. I just want to read more nonfiction, so I'm fine if I don't get to that number, And also every year I have this list of classics that I would like to read, and so far out of the 12 classics I put on that list this year, I have read 3. So let's talk about specific books that I would like to read in this reading list. First things first, I would like to read Cradle by Vonnegut. I just looked at that list of classics that I wanted to read in 2024 and this book looked the least intimidating. So we're gonna read Cradle. I think it's about one of the founders of the atomic bomb. Vonnegut's books always have this lightness of tone. They're very satirical, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Also, it's very short, so that's great. Then we have a book in Polish, Godność, proszę by Maja Heban. The title translates to Dignity, Please. This book is written by a Polish activist who is a trans woman, and I'm not quite sure what this is exactly. Is it a collection of essays or what? But this book will count both for reading a book in Polish and reading nonfiction, so that's perfect. Then some other books I have on my radar, just so I read 5 books in this reading vlog. I really want to read My Husband by Ventura. I'm going to listen to it on audiobook. I don't know much about the plot, but I think it's about a woman who's absolutely obsessed with her husband, to a concerning degree, and I've heard we're kind of stuck in her head a lot. And when it comes to the genre of this book, it's kind of a mix of literary fiction, horror and thriller, which kind of reminds me of Mrs. March that I really enjoyed. So this one has very divisive opinions, but I'd like to give it a shot. Another book that I'm interested in is Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. I've heard some very disturbing things about this book. The author really goes there, and you know what? I would like to read about some fucked up shit. And the last book I have on my radar is the Decagon House Murders by Yukito Ayatsuji, which is a Japanese mystery novel. Supposedly it took some inspiration from Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. So that sounds very interesting. Those are the 5 books that I would like to read. Also in a few days I'm going to England, so we'll see how much filming I will get done there, but yeah, I'll take you along. I think I'm gonna start with My Husband. So let's get going.
Harper and Harper Audio present My Husband, a novel by Knútsdóttir.
I am turning. Okay. Hello, it is 2 a.m. on a work week and I don't know what I'm doing here, but you've seen me today. It's Monday. This is a chaotic update. It's Monday. On Wednesday at 6 a.m. I am leaving for my holiday, and today I went to pick up a book at the bookstore. You saw that bookstore, very cute. The bookstore is called Typhoony, and they are a publishing house that focuses only on like Asian literature, and it has both Polish translations and it also has some English translations. So I bought the Decagon House Murders. Is that how you pronounce that? I'm not sure. I will be bringing this with me for my trip. And after that I went to 2 different malls because I was looking for some stuff. It's always so busy before you leave for your holiday. I was trying to buy a jacket, but I didn't find one. Everything was either like too thin and I would be cold in it, or it was like a puffer jacket and I would be too hot in it. So I will try tomorrow, but I do work a 9-to-5 job, so there's not enough hours in the day. Anyway, a reading update. I started My Husband and I was spot on with the synopsis, and I was also spot on with the comparison to Mrs. March. In both books we kind of stay in the mind of those wives who just overthink every single thing, and they're both quite insecure. My Husband, actually, interestingly, both were originally published in August of 2021, and I just found out that actually My Husband is a translated work. It was originally published in French, but interestingly it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't read like translated fiction. I don't know how to explain it. It reads very American somehow. The main character is a translator and a teacher, and she teaches English. So I don't know. I don't know if the author like spent some time in the US. I don't know, but it feels like American books feel. I don't know how to explain it, but I am enjoying it. This book takes place over a week and it's very short. The audiobook that I'm listening to is like 5 hours long, so I should be finishing that today. Today is 2 a.m. So there's that. I also started the Polish nonfiction book and I'm not loving it so far. It's I don't love the writing style. Sometimes it sounds quite casual, other times it feels like I'm reading a friend's bachelor thesis, not in a good way. It just feels like she's trying to sound so smart, but it doesn't feel natural. But I find it hard to criticize it because it's like I'm so happy that those kind of books are being published, and I wish more trans people will be able to share their stories, but I'm not sure about this one. I don't even know how to categorize this book because it's not quite memoir, but it's not quite a collection of essays. It's just, so like the full title is Dignity Please. Okay, I'm translating the title literally. It says Dignity Please, about transgenderism, anger and hope. I do know that the word transgenderism is outdated and you shouldn't be using it anymore, in English at least. But yeah, that's what it says. I don't think in Polish it has the same connotations, but I'm not sure. Also, another problem I have with it, it has no, like the way that it is divided. I only got like 40 pages into it, but this book is divided into chapters that have like no names, like it's just like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and so far I feel like it feels a bit all over the place. I wish the chapters actually had names, like whether it would be like the title of the essay or like the chapters would be organized around like a certain topic. So far I feel like it's just a little bit too all over the place. I wish this would go through like another round of editing, or the author would like have a talk with an editor about like how to logically structure this book, because it's not really working for me. But I think I'm going to finish it. I think it's an important book to read, and I still think I'm going to learn a lot, even though I have some problems with the book itself. Anyway, that's the update. I should go to sleep. I don't know, I don't feel like going to sleep because I think I'm a bit stressed out about this trip. So yeah, but tomorrow I have to wake up at, not tomorrow, it's already today. I have to wake up at like 3 a.m. because I have to be at the airport at like 4:30. So that's gonna be fun. Anyway, I think hopefully I'll be able to update you tomorrow when I finish at least one of those books. So, see ya.
page. Oh, why is it shocking?
Okay, hello, sorry about the atrocious lighting, but I am currently in a hotel in Bristol with my friend, and I realized I never updated you on my books. So, this is very awkward because my friend is in the background, but she has headphones on, so hopefully she can hear me. We'll see. So, first things first, when I was still in Warsaw, I finished My Husband. I just didn't have time to update you, sorry. But I really enjoyed it, especially the audiobook. I actually am not sure if I would like it as much if I just read it physically. And yeah, I'm giving it 4 stars. The only reason why I'm not giving it anything higher than that is that in the middle, it got a bit repetitive, which I also understand why it would, because you're just stuck in this character's head who's just obsessed with her husband and she overanalyzes every single thing and her mind just goes in circles. So like I get it, but it was sometimes getting a bit tedious to read. And the ending was a little bit predictable, but it's not like it's a thriller or a mystery, so I don't mind it that much, but I ended up giving it 4 stars, would recommend it. So, when it comes to what I'm currently reading, I started Cat's Cradle by Vonnegut on my train journey here. No, on my train journey to Cornwall, but I only got like 21 pages into it, so I have pretty much no thoughts so far. But it does feel a bit nonsensical, more nonsensical than other Vonnegut's books I've read so far. So we'll see where we'll go from here. And also I started the Decagon House Murders, which I'm like 120 pages into, and I'm not really loving it, to be honest. It may be quite hard to give you the synopsis of this book, but the very basic synopsis is that basically this story is about those 7 students who go to this island where pretty much at this point no one lives, but a very gruesome murder was committed there, and they will be staying at the Decagon house. And like I said before, this is very much inspired by And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, so it looks like one by one they will all be dying. And basically the culprit is probably the person among them. There's more to it, but I don't want to make it sound too convoluted, even though it is kind of convoluted, but I'm not enjoying it. I don't really like the writing style, although it could be the translation. This was originally written in Japanese, and it's set in Japan. This book is trying to be very self-aware, because those students are actually members of a mystery club at university, and each of them has a nickname after a famous mystery writer. So there's Agatha after Agatha Christie, there's Poe after Edgar Allan Poe, LaRue after Gaston Leroux, yeah. And honestly, to me, it just sounds very cheesy. So, not enjoying it, but I will be finishing it just because I am interested in the mystery. I just don't think it's a very well-written book, personally. So, there's that. I will probably update you when I'm back in Warsaw, and I have finished both of those books. So, see ya. Okay. Okay, hello friends. It's been 3 days since I came back from the UK. I got a bit sick, so I stopped giving you updates. I'm feeling a bit better today, so let me get you up to speed. First update, I finished the Decagon murders. No, the Decagon house murders. I do not have the physical copy because I actually got rid of it. So you can only imagine how much I enjoyed it. Basically, I just gave it to my friend because I didn't have enough space in my backpack anyway, because I bought one book and it was like packed to a brim. So after buying one book, I didn't have the space for the Decagon house murders, so my friend Erin was like, I'll take it. So I gave it to her. Pretty much everything I said still stands. I thought the writing was pretty poor. The characters were quite one-dimensional. The mystery was interesting, I thought, but like after I finished it, I realized that like the explanation to everything was quite simple. So like the story was just convoluted for the sake of being convoluted. Yeah, also I did figure out who the culprit was halfway through the book. And it wasn't like, oh, maybe it's that person. I was pretty sure it was that person, and I was correct. There was one final twist that I didn't guess, and it was quite surprising. So I will very briefly get into spoilers, just so you know what I didn't figure out. So, yes, I did figure out that Mauricio was the killer. Just the fact that he was like, oh, I'm going to be the armchair detective was suspicious. And then when he suddenly said, oh, I don't want to be involved anymore, it was very suspicious and weird, and like his excuse didn't make any sense. So I was like, I'm pretty sure it's you. But I did not deduce that he was Van. Yeah, that line, I am Van Dyne. He got me there. But that's the only reason why this book isn't getting 1 star. Yeah, basically I am giving it 2 stars, and I already got rid of it. So there's that. The second book that I also didn't enjoy is Cradle by Vonnegut. Okay, so let's talk about it. I feel like what I told you about this book isn't really the plot of this book, because I said it's about the founding father of the atomic bomb, and like it is, but also it isn't. So basically, the founding father of the atomic bomb, called Felix Honecker, at the very end of his life also invented something called Ice 9, which potentially could freeze the entire planet. Then he died, and we read this book from the perspective of Jonah, who is a writer and technically wants to write a story about, Felix Honecker, so he contacts his 3 children and becomes involved with them in various ways. So that's the premise. This book explores the purpose of religion, the purpose of technology and science, and it's specifically about the misuse of technology and where blindly following religion can lead you. And I liked a lot of what it was saying, I really did. But unfortunately, the reading experience wasn't very enjoyable for me. I normally really like his black humor and the use of irony, but this book was just a little bit too ridiculous for me, and like I said earlier, it was verging on being almost nonsensical. Also, like, vague spoilers, but the main character's sudden infatuation with a character named Mona was so weird. I'm not sure if her age is specified, but she was much younger than the main character, and it was just very uncomfortable. And yeah, I'm not sure. I'm kind of torn whether I want to give this book 3 stars or 2 stars, because like I said, I like the message, but I didn't enjoy the ride. I'm more inclined to give it a 2 star, but to be honest, I also gave 2 stars to Breakfast of Champions, and I definitely liked Cradle a bit more. So I feel like Cradle, if we're being specific, this is a 2.5 star. So yeah, unfortunately, Slaughterhouse 5 remains superior. I'm not sure if this is the end of my journey with Kurt Vonnegut, because I don't know, from what I've learned while reading Cradle, I think I enjoy when his books are more kind of set in reality and aren't kind of leaning towards science fiction. So one of the books that I'm still interested in is Mother Night, which I believe doesn't have any like sci-fi elements in it. So there's that. I still have to finish Godność, proszę, which is my Polish non-fiction book. And there has been a change of plans because I will not be reading Airflings by Sayaka Murata because I don't have a good feeling about the book. Like, I would like to still read it, but I don't think I'm going to give it a very high rating. So I've decided that I'm going to read Airflings in a different vlog. I want to film a video where I read books that are a bit out of my comfort zone, and I feel like that book definitely fits into that concept. So Airflings will be read, not in this vlog, unfortunately. Instead, I think this is not set in stone yet, but I think I would like to read what is it called? Simple Passion by Annie Ernaux. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, but you probably seen me in one of the clips. I was in a bookstore, I think it was Waterstones, and I picked up a few books and I read like the first page just to see if I would be interested. And in one of those books, there was a quote before the first chapter from that novel, Simple Passion, and I really liked that quote. So I think I'm gonna read Simple Passion because it is available on Everett as an ebook. It's very short. I think it's maybe less than 100 pages or around 100 pages long. So I think I'm gonna read that, and then we'll see, because this vlog, I've been filming it for like 2 weeks now, so I'm actually more than 5 books behind. Like, I'm still, even after I finish those 5 books in this vlog, I'm still not going to be caught up on my reading goal. So I'm not sure if I'm going to continue reading more books or I'll just tap out at 5. Another contender would be Quicksand by Nella Larsen, because this is another book on my classics TBR for 2024. So it would be another goal tackled. So even if I'm behind, a few books, I'm still tackling my 2024 goals. And this vlog will feel like an accomplishment? Question mark? Yeah, this is where we're at. For now, I have to finish this book and will probably read Simple Passion. Okay, see ya. Okay, hello, I finished 2 books today. Let's start with the audiobook. I listened to The Night Guest by an Icelandic author whose name I don't know how to pronounce, but it's probably on the screen. While I was listening to the audiobook, what is it called? Felt needling? Hold on. Needle felting. Okay. Well, I did that and made this. It's supposed to be a guinea pig, but like I really messed up when it comes to her nose. It's far too big. But for the first time, I don't think it's terrible. It's a bit bigger than I anticipated, but yes, I did that while listening to the audiobook. The audiobook was very short, like 3 hours long. Good God, I have a runny nose. I'm not recovered yet fully, but... So, what is the story about? It's about a main character who lives in Iceland and who let the dogs out. It's about this woman who is experiencing some health problems. She feels very tired. She has bruises on her body. She has, body aches. And she's experiencing all of those symptoms and goes to different doctors who are rather dismissive of her symptoms. Until one day she buys a pedometer, I think it's called, or something like that. And in the morning she realizes that during the night she had walked like 40,000 steps. That's all I want to tell you. It's a very short novella, really. So, if that sounds intriguing to you, I would refrain from going to Goodreads and reading the reviews because they do spoil the book. But I also understand why people did that, because it's kind of a trigger warning. So I kind of want to warn you. I'm not going to tell you specifically what happens, but I'm going to give you what type of trigger warning it is. So if you don't want to hear it, skip ahead 10-15 seconds. If you are sensitive to any type of animal cruelty, I probably would skip this novel. So there's that. I'm going to give it 3 stars. I enjoyed it quite a lot until the very end. I didn't like the ending. I think it was far too ambiguous. You know how I like reading mystery novels? I would say I'm pretty good at picking up clues. And here I felt like there wasn't enough in the story to make the ending make sense. Also, not many people have read this yet because this is a translated novel and the translation only came out in September of this year. So I wish there were more reviews so I could read up on people's theories. But I wish the ideas were a little bit more developed in the story because I don't think it made that much sense. I mean, I think I know where she was going, but I'm not sure. And yeah, I'm giving it 3 stars. On the other hand, Simple Passion by Ernaux, I loved it. It's yet another very short book. I think it's 50 pages long. And who would have thought that I would enjoy a book about infidelity? Because this is a very... I'm not even sure if I should call it a novella. It's almost like a short story. It's about a woman who has an affair with a married man, and it's about how this relationship ends and, the aftermath of that. This is yet another story where a woman is obsessed with a man. What is that about? But I really enjoyed it. This is, I don't know, on Goodreads it's categorized as fiction, but it's not really. It's autofiction. It's definitely based on any Ernaux's life, and good God, can she write. I read this as an ebook and I highlighted a few sentences here and there. I feel like for the first time I truly understood what it means to give yourself up to passion and how it feels to experience this all-consuming love. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I would definitely recommend it. Hold on. Thank you for saying bless you. Anyway, as you can hear, I'm not fully recovered yet. This is where we are with this vlog. And I think I will catch up on my reading goal tomorrow. I still have 2 books to read and by then I should be caught up. On Goodreads it should say, you're on track. It's gonna happen, guys. It's gonna happen. So, I'll see you in the next update when I tell you that I have achieved this. Manifesting. Like, hello, I did it. Yes, thank you. You probably didn't think I'd be able to do it. And that's fine, no one believed in me, but I did it anyway. Actually, if you didn't believe in me, you would be right, because it's actually 2 days later and I was supposed to update you yesterday. But I was saying that I wanted to finish by yesterday because I was worried if I updated my Goodreads today, I would be actually like one more book behind by that point. But no, I'm on track, finally. It feels good. So, the last 2 books. Let's start with the nonfiction first, because I have some good news about the other book. So, I finished Godność, proszę, which is the Polish nonfiction book that I was reading. And I did warm up to this the more I read from it, but the downsides still are the same. So, I still didn't love the writing style. I still feel like this book could have been organized better. Either put into like essays with like specific titles or put into categories based on the topic. Also, this didn't really have any footnotes. There were some statistics that were mentioned, so I wish we knew where the data was from exactly. But I'm still glad I read it. I'm glad it was written. I'm glad it was published. And I did learn a lot about the experience of being a trans person in Poland. So I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I might actually round it up on Goodreads to 4 stars, I'm not sure yet. For now I didn't... Sorry, I'm so sick. For now I didn't give it a rating, but we'll see. The other book is Quicksand by Nella Larsen. I listened to it on audiobook, but actually I listened to it kind of on YouTube. Through a LibriVox recording. There was another audiobook on Everend, but I didn't really like it. I feel like the one that LibriVox, is that what it's called? The one that they did was much better. And I also was at the same time looking at the ebook on Everend, and I really enjoyed it. What is it about? Okay, let me look at the synopsis for this book, because I'm bad at those things. Hold on. Okay. It is about this young woman, Helga, who at the beginning of the novel is teaching at this black school in the, I don't know, 1920s maybe. But she is dissatisfied with her life there, and she decides to quit and move to Chicago. She is biracial. Her father was black while her mother was white, and she, throughout the book, kind of grapples with her identity a lot and tries to find her place in the world. This book reminded me a lot of The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton and Madame Bovary by Flaubert. And if you know me, you know this is a very high praise, especially when it comes to Madame Bovary. The main character of Madame Bovary was Emma. Was that her name? They had the same like unyielding pursuit to find happiness, which I found very admirable. Even though they can appear to be very selfish, can appear to be very... what's the word? Like they kind of don't think their decisions through, but kind of act on impulsive. But even with their faults, I kept rooting for them. Just kept thinking like, no, they have to find the meaning of their lives and finally be happy. And do they? Do they? Well, okay, so throughout the book I thought this was going to be a 5-star. Unfortunately, at the end this novel took a turn, kind of a religious turn, and I was like, oh no, where is this going? But at the very end, like I still didn't like love the ending, but it didn't go where I was worried it was going. So, I think when I was recording the clip, when I was rating this book on Goodreads, I think I gave it 4 stars, but to be honest, the more I think about it, the more I feel like it's a 4.5 star. And yeah, I would really like to have it in my collection. I also read Passing, and I think I gave it 5 stars. So, man, what a shame that Nella Larsen didn't write more books, because 5-star and a 4.5 star is quite rare for me, like to give just one author, and there's nothing else to read, unfortunately, from her. I had the same feeling after I finished Madame Bovary, when I was like, oh my god, I wish I could like film like a video essay about this book. Yeah, I had the same feeling while reading Quicksand. But There's unfortunately no time for me to delve deeper into why I loved Quicksand so much, because this vlog is already very long, and also I can't speak for long because I do get those like coughing fits every now and then. I'm still sick. So this is where this vlog finishes, unfortunately. I might do at the end of the year like a summary of classics that I've read this year, so maybe I will have more time to talk about Quicksand in that video. But I'm still satisfied with this vlog. Not only I caught up on my goals, like I am finally on track on Goodreads. I read 2 classics from my list of classics I wanted to read in 2024. I read a book in Polish, and also I read a nonfiction. It's the same book, but it still counts for my 2 goals. Also, ratings wise, I had a 2-star, a 2.5 star, a 3-star, a 3.5 star, a 4-star, a 4.5 star, and a 5-star. So what a beautiful array of ratings. And yeah, this is where I will leave you. Please keep me in your thoughts, because I would love to finally recover from this cold or whatever this is. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!